welcome back to the channel. Today I will be building this special hobby Fokker D.XXI in 1/72nd scale. You can see the instruction booklet, the sprues, and decals. The kit also comes with photo etch parts and resin parts. Now you can see me going through the instructions a bit, and I'm checking out the sprues to see if the panel lines are reset, and they are. They look very nice, and there is some pretty nice raised detail on the motor kit overall. Now, the decals are nicely printed, and at first I thought they were a bit thick, but they are quite nice. And that's the photo etch that I was talking about. There is some pre-painted photo etch. And now to the resin parts. Most of the cockpit is actually resin, so you will not see me build the cockpit, unfortunately. See right here, this is the cockpit that is built up. I superglued everything, and in the process I also superglued my fingers. There I'm pointing out some scratches, but unfortunately I didn't film the building of the cockpit. I'm really sorry about that. Now to the instrument panel, this is photo etch, 100% photo etch, and it looks very nice. It's going to look also very nice in the cockpit. Now for the seat, I am cutting some seat belts from the photo etch set, but they are very flimsy. Fortunately, I did not lose any of them. So I finished cutting off the seat belts, and you can see the seat right there. So this is how it looks after the seat belts have been applied. I feel like they look pretty nice, and they will get painted over and then repainted with a brush, which was not my brightest idea since they look very nice in photo etch form, but yeah. Now going over to the engine, which is a Bristol Mercury 8 9-cylinder air-cooled radial piston engine from what I've read online. And yeah, I'm going to paint it accordingly. At first, I will be painting the engine as I thought it looked good and realistic, but after looking at some reference images, I will be doing some touch-ups because those pistons are not actually aluminum colored, and they are actually black. So I will be painting them black. I will put a picture right now on the screen with the actual engine, so you can see how different it looks from the actual thing. And I do feel like I did a pretty good job painting it. I also put some blue on there, which is not realistic. The real engine does not have blue. But since most of the engines do have blue on them, I felt like it was a nice detail, even though it will be hidden by the propeller. So this video is a bit different. It is not a full build. It is a video which has been filmed in sections of the build process. So unlike the two of my other videos, this is not a full build, unfortunately. And one more thing I'd like to add is, please, if you have any criticism or if you have any tips for me, please leave them in the comments. Now, while you will continue seeing me paint the propeller, I will go over the history of the aircraft. So, the Fokker D-XXI was designed as an inexpensive aircraft that would possess respectable performance, and it entered operation use and the earlier years of the Second World War, and it provided yeoman service for both the Luftwaffendienst, the Dutch Army Aviation Group, and the Finnish Air Force. Additionally, a few examples were constructed by the Air Carmoli factory before it flew into rebel hands during the Spanish Civil War. The aircraft had a maximum speed of 460 kilometers per hour or 290 miles per hour. It had a height of 2 meters, a wingspan of 11 meters, and a length of 8.2 meters. It only had one crew of a pilot, which is clearly visible, and its range was of 930 kilometers or 580 miles. Finally, its armament consisted of four 7.7 Vickers machine guns. Now, back to the video commentary. You can see me gluing some parts of the, I believe that is part of the radiator or the exhaust for the engine. Something like that. I'm terribly sorry if I'm mistaking right here, but I'm hopefully correct. Now, Timex was, of course, my main glue of choice during this build, just like my previous build, because it seeps into the gaps really well and it allows for a nice strong bond. Now, the next section that you will be seeing will be the cockpit. Now, here you can see the fully painted cockpit, and you can also see the seat belts that have been repainted by my own hand. You can see some uh, extinguishers right there, and I believe that blue thing is a medical box or something that like that. But I feel like the copy did not really well. You can then see, you saw it right there for just a second next to a time accident in cement. Now I'm quickly jumping into the almost finished aircraft right here. There were a lot of seams to fill out and sand down. There was a huge gap down the entirety of the fuselage, and it was pretty horrendous. And now to the propeller, which is actually pretty nice. And as I said, it is made out of resin. Now, I would like to go more into detail about the fuselage. So, while I was gluing it, I encountered some problems. So, the cockpit tub was a bit too thick, and I had to sand out a lot of the interior to make it fit. And even then, after I glued the fuselage halves together, there were a lot of gaps that had to be filled out and then sanded, which took quite a while. So that's why I didn't film that part, because I thought you have already seen enough filling and sanding on other videos, so I will not be including it here from now on. Or only if it's something really important that needs to be mentioned, like right here. Why this is why I'm actually adding the extra recording here, just to tell you about that. If you're being this kid, please be careful about that. Or maybe it's a mistake that I did. Now you can see me building the gear, the landing gear, which is actually in fixed position. And I thought that if I didn't glue the wheel there, it would be able to move, but I was really wrong, and it isn't able to move at all. Continuing with the build, I just bow out and both of the landing gears, which are now finished, and they were able to move at that point, but the glue seeps into the gaps and blocks them in place. Now I will be gluing this on, which they do have a very small gap, but I didn't bother filling it since I didn't think it would be necessary and very visible. So this is just a quick process that takes very little time. Now you can see me gluing the other landing gear, and at that point I was just checking to see if they are lined up correctly with the fuselage and if they are perpendicular. Now you can see I've painted the aircraft right here in the base color. I've also tried to do some pre-shading, but it is not very visible under the multiple coats of paint uh, and then the camouflage, but you can see some tonal variation right here with some black showing through the brown color, which is nice. Now I will be straight up jumping to the fully painted in the three-tone camo. With the white color should have been a more beige color, yellowy white, but unfortunately I didn't do it right, so it ended up like this. So I still feel like it looks very nice. Now the propeller, I will be painting it aluminum as per how it looks, though the instructions tell you to paint it black if I'm not mistaken, which is wrong since the actual Fokker had a aluminum propeller and not a black. Another inaccuracy in the instruction manual in the painting process is that the front of the engine cowling is supposed to be also aluminum, but I painted it white as per the instructions. So the instructions were mistaken right there. So please be careful when building it and keep looking at reference images. I will now be gluing the propeller with some super glue on there, and it just went on perfectly, no issues right there. As for the decal scheme that I am doing is the Fokker D.XXI number 234, construction number 507 of the first fighter squadron of the Royal Netherlands Air Force. All decals were applied with warm water and then adjusted with my hand or with a brush, and then with a cotton swab they were gently pressed over to conform to the surfaces because I had run out of decal softener at this point. Now I'm checking it out and seeing if it looks good. Now the decal right here is way too big for the aircraft, and unfortunately that's a issue that happens on both sides. I will trim the decals at the end, but they still look a bit odd and out of shape. The cockpit was also hand painted, and this is the mostly finished aircraft except for the cockpit, which I will be gluing right now. So this video was quite a odd one since I did not show many parts of the build, which could have been very important. Now the cockpit was also glued right there with some extra thin Tamiya cement, and you already know why I'm using Tamiya extra thin cement, and it's because of the capillary action that a good modeler and very, very, very cool and ship building modeler, Mr. Boxman builds. Please check him out. He always says this, and I've taken what he said to heart. Now, I really wanted to push this video out before the 31st, so before New Year's, because I really wanted to say thank you all for watching my videos up until now, even though there are only two of them. And my resolution for next year is that I will be putting more effort and details into model kits. Now, going over to the final photos. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to comment. That's the only thing I care about, is that I get some feedback from you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I wish you all a happy, happy new year. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.